Hello and welcome to Shifting the MS Mindset, the podcast. Join your host, Kathleen Loren, along with special guests. It's time to take back our power and ownership of our bodies, our mindset, our life. Now, let's dive into today's episode.
Hello, people. Hello, welcome, family. It's great to be back. Oh my God, I missed you. Mwah, mwah, missed you. So today we've got a special treat. We've got the money mindset coach, Emmanuel. And I've known Emmanuel for a few years, probably about 6 years. And he is awesome. You know, he has money businesses. He's got, what else has he got? He does coaching. He has absolutely every single thing that is necessary to succeed in the world of work, of money, of influence. And I just really appreciate him coming on to share his knowledge of finances, because finances, especially in today's day and age, is really, really, really crucial. Really crucial. You know, what is that called? The cost of living is not for everyone. It's not for the weak. It's definitely not for me. I am drowning in it. So Emmanuel is going to share his knowledge and expertise on this subject matter. So Emmanuel, please implode us with your knowledge.
Excellent. Yeah. So thank you for the introduction, Kathy. Absolutely amazing. I really appreciate it. And thanks for having me on board today. Just a brief overview about myself. You've given me a great introduction. I'm the founder of Money and Mindset Coaching. The aim is really around helping people with finances, but also challenging their mindset and their perception around why they spend the way they spend, or their actions behind that as well. So there's a lot more loaded information behind that. But today, what I want to really go through with you is just kind of going through the core pillars to be able to set yourself to building a better financial lifestyle. Okay, so let me start. Okay, with the main things. I call it like building a financial house or building something from scratch. Okay, and I always say whenever you build anything in life, financially, we always have to start with things such as protection. Okay, protection such as life insurance, building content insurance, and all of these types of insurances that are in place. It's really important because in any scenario that may happen, it's leaving our next generation to then be the ones to tailor their lifestyles in a way that they're not, they may have not been able to without having things like life insurance in place. So, I always love to talk about life insurance because it's something that's really important in our industry. It is the way that actually helps people build wealth. I'll give you an example. We had somebody that actually told me that one of the ways that people actually build wealth through life insurance is that some cultures actually spend their money, their life insurance monthly payments, and actually invest into the oldest family member. So they all come together, and then once that family member unfortunately dies, they then actually distribute that wealth around themselves and allow themselves to then build a better generational wealth for their families and families to come. And so the protection is a really important area in that area. Then what happens is then we move over to debt. Okay, so debt management. I always say that the aim is to really think about how we can actually clear our debts. And, one of the best ways that we can talk about, and I'll talk about briefly, is through a concept called debt stacking. Okay, and it's about trying to clear your debts one by one by utilizing the largest one and snowballing that effect until you can clear all of them off. And if you would like to know more information about that, we can discuss that potentially on a one-to-one. But the main thing is making sure that we actually clear our debts, and making sure that we are debt free. Okay. And when we focus on our debts, we then need to then focus on income, budgeting. Okay. And that's really important, looking at your wants, your needs, and also looking at your deserves. I think, one of the things I always say to my clients is generally look at your receipt and ask yourself, what is it that you want? What is it that you need on there? And are there any areas that you can potentially look at to basically address in those areas to either save money to go somewhere else, or consider taking that money to move in other areas? So it's really important to kind of address those wants and needs when it comes to budgeting. Another thing that you need to focus on when it comes to budgeting, most importantly, is really sitting there and really deciding exactly how you choose to utilize your money. I think a lot of people have a lot of money in income and outgoings coming in, but we're not able to really address that area in the way we want to. So one of the things I always say is, which is really important when it comes to budgeting, is to really have a spending diary. I always say audit and track your expenses, because what we can't see, we won't know, we won't be able to see, and it's important to kind of get that in place. Okay, so budgeting, tracking, spending diaries, that's really important. Observing your bills, that's another thing as well. Observing your bills, I think that is such a massive thing, because we have a lot of direct debits going in and out. We don't really take control of our income or our outgoings. It's actually controlled for us. And so sometimes we need to verify what is being controlled by others so that we can see if we can make better decisions. This is the perfect time of the year, as it's April, coming to April. And as we're coming to April, this is the tax year where everything shifts. If you'll notice that council tax is going up, energy bills are going down. But what you're seeing is that you may feel like you're making a saving in one place because bills are going down, energy bills are going down. But because council tax is going up, that might affect you in that other area. So sometimes you just need to sit down and assess what is going in and out of your account. Okay, so it's just so important. And then what we then do is we go to the fourth floor, which I call asset management. Okay, and I always look at it from an angle that actually the best way of putting it is having at least 3 months worth of expenses saved. Okay, as a rule of thumb, just for any emergencies that happen in life, it's so important to make sure that we have an emergency fund in place to be able to look after any issues that happen, that may put us into a debt or any specific areas. Okay, and then when we focus on all of those areas, I always call it the pinnacle. That the top area is really about income generation, and the fifth floor is about having multiple streams of income. I always say, it's so important to have ways of increasing your income that allows you to really stay afloat. It's so difficult during the cost of living crisis that we're going through, where we're really struggling day to day, and it's all about trying to focus on how to potentially turn your skill set into an asset, or even potentially looking at other ways to help you help others to increase your income. So they are the core, I call it the core fundamentals to really helping yourself sustain yourself in the financial area. And you feel free, Kathy, to let me know if there's anything you want me to say.
Right. No, that's so true. And it's really good to I like the way that you've put them all on ladders. It's a little bit like Maslow's hierarchy. Do you know what I mean? So the base is, protection, eating and warmth and shelter. And then when you get higher up the ladder, it's all the rest. So what would you say is the key for me anyway? What is the first thing that you really need to master to almost flourish? Not that you're going to flourish straight away, but what is the first thing that you would say, yeah, you need to have this on lock, you need to have this on tap for you to feel a little bit more comfortable in your own skin? So what would you say that is, Emmanuel?
I would definitely refer back to the base. Okay, I always say when we focus on the foundation, which is protection, it really saves ourselves from putting ourselves in a very vulnerable position. Let me give you an example to that. So let's just say, for example, you are in a position where you didn't have, for example, contents insurance and something in your house broke, it would mean that maybe you would need to fork out that money to buy extra appliance, such as a washing machine. If you didn't have the means of buying it already, where do you get that from? So it then leaves us in that vulnerable position to make sure that we don't want to be in. So having the foundation set up is really important. Life insurance as well. There's a lot of GoFundMe's out there, and it's about trying to change the narrative. In various different communities to say that there is a way out to help people actually save, make money for their next generation. And it's sometimes some life insurances are as little as £5 a month, and that can pay out a lot of money, more than their funeral expenses. Because the average cost of a funeral can range from, £10,000 to £20,000 or even more. And sometimes when we think about how much that's going to cost, where are we actually going to get that money from? And if we have to think about those questions and those conversations, what action are we taking now to be able to make those better decisions for not just ourselves, but our futures that are ahead of us?
Yeah, that's so true. That is so true. And what would you, because I'm not a good saver. How or what is a good method to saving? And not big expenses, but I'm not a good saver. And since I've been working with you, like I said, I've been working with you for a few years, and we had that thing where I've got to save X amount of cash, before the year's done. Still haven't accomplished that, by the way. But how would you say, what is the key to staying on target to save a little?
I think that's an excellent question. Look at it this way. Now, we all have direct debits that come out, okay? So in theory, we're saving our money to somebody else's business. So if we're able to do that, we can also set our own standing orders, direct debits to ourselves as part of that. So if we are focusing on what goes out could also be our savings in that same place. So sometimes it might just be looking at your income and outgoing and actually asking yourself, okay, what is it, even as a bare minimum, that I can put aside towards saving towards my emergency fund? And have that automated so you don't have to physically worry about it. So I think that is probably one of the major things to look at. Now, if you obviously have that emergency fund already available, then you'll be looking at investments and putting money in for long-term savings. Okay, and that's going to be towards maybe when your child turns 18, if you have children, for example, and making sure that they've got their university costs put aside, or maybe saving for a house in the next 5 years or something like that. Then you have that discipline, income outgoing structure in place. So automating your finances towards your savings, just like your direct debits are coming out, would definitely be one of the ways to go forward. Right.
Wow. Yeah, no, it's a whole load to unpick, really, because finances, maths. So if you're not really good with maths, is that gonna hinder you in your money kind of mindset, kind of training, or will it benefit you? I don't know, because maths, I'm not so good at maths. Is that going to hinder me?
No, I don't think it will hinder you in any capacity. I think there's lots of financial coaches out there that are able to also assist you, people like myself, that are able to be there to help you go on track in the right direction. But most importantly, one of the great things about technology these days is that there's different apps that actually allow you to see your income and outgoing without doing the math yourself. So because there's so many different apps out there that are able to show you your bank account balance, show you your income and your outgoing, you don't need to add anything anymore. So we're in a position now where we're really comfortable and very fortunate enough to be able to allow more visibility of our expenditures because everything's digital.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense. Right. So, is there anything before I go to the questions, because I've got a couple of questions to ask you, but um, is there anything that you feel like you need to share with the audience, share with followers, with regards to money, mindset, refocusing, and so on and so forth?
Yeah, I feel that some things to really think about and share is about having discipline. I think that's a key area. Sometimes we get distracted by so many different things, and I look at it this way: having a sinking fund is very important. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
what a sinking fund essentially is actually putting money set aside for things that you know are going to happen. So we know, for example, depending on what everybody celebrates, Christmas comes every year, but we know
Mm-hmm.
that maybe we have a friend, family, or so forth's birthday that happens every
Yeah.
year. So if
Yeah.
we know that that's happening, we know for sure that's definitely going to happen. We know Christmas is coming. Why
Yeah.
not save a small amount for that
Yeah.
season? Okay, holidays, for example, making sure that you have things like holidays expenses saved up.
Yeah.
I always say the best rule of thumb is if you can't afford it if you can't afford it twice, don't pay for it. So so
Right.
so actually, it's better to don't pay for
That's
it,
really
wait,
good.
and
I
then
like
be able to
that.
pay for it.
Say that again, because I like that. If
If
you
you
can't
can't
afford it,
afford it twice, don't
yeah.
pay for it.
Excellent. Excellent.
And
Yeah.
the reason why it's so important to make sure that we don't overspend is because sometimes we get so distracted in all of these different areas. It's so important to kind of
Mm-hmm.
take control of your finances before it controls you.
Mm.
And I always love that feeling that actually, you know what, you utilize your expenses like it's your own business, like you run your own business for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I am one thing I always say to my clients is find time to buy time to make time. And what I
Like
mean
that.
by that is that find the time that
Mm-hmm.
buys you the time, okay,
Mm-hmm.
to make the time to do the things that you're trying to do, okay. So
Amen.
sometimes we sit there and we go, well, we may do certain things that take our time, but not
Mm-hmm.
save us time to have the opportunity to sit there and think about what we're doing, where we're going, and what our goals are for the next 3 years, 5 years,
Right.
6 months, for example. So
Right.
strategizing your mindset just around what to do with your money will
Mm-hmm.
allow you to do the things you want to do with your money.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it's about us being busy. I know that when we was in lockdown, we had time to reflect and all of that. Use that as a framework for your own lockdown, if that makes sense. And have an hour to your day within your day to just reflect on your finances and sit there and
Mm-hmm.
say, am I happy? Am I not happy? What can I do to be happier? And
Mm-hmm.
ask yourselves the questions because you're the answer to your own questions, which is absolutely amazing. So
Mm-hmm.
utilize that mindset.
I like your little sayings. I really like your sayings, and it really resonates with me because if you've got a saying that you constantly repeat in your mind, it's obviously going to take you to different places. You know, always. It's always going to redirect your emotions, your narrative. So to keep saying, okay, I'm ready, I'm going to do this, 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 and you do it, rather than not paying attention to what needs to be paid attention to, which is money. Money, 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 money. What's that song? Money, 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 money. Right. So, okay. So I've got a question for you. Have you finished in whatever else you were going to say, Emmanuel?
Yes, I have. So feel free
Okay.
to.
So I've got a question from, where is she? Soraya. Right. Her name is Soraya Lovery, I think is how you pronounce it. Soraya Lovery. And she said, uh, how can a disabled person save money when medication is not cheap? Which is crucial because I remember I was on Vamprodine, which was a medication for walking, You know, I'm in a wheelchair now, but it used to help me walk when I was at that stage, and it cost an arm and a leg, you know. So she wants to know, how can you save money when your medication is so expensive and you've got to pay for that on one hand, but on the other hand, you really want to save?
That's
What?
a really, really
Yeah.
good question. So
Okay.
to think about the best answer, there's many different ways of looking at it, and it's all down to everyone's individual circumstance, first of all. And that would probably be something that you'll need to really ask on a one-to-one. But one of the things that there is out there is there is an they call it an NHS prescription payment certificate, so PPC, okay? So what it does is it covers all of your NHS prescriptions for a set period of time, okay? That potentially saves you money compared to paying for each prescription individually. So prices for medication can vary between, and also prices between medications can vary between pharmacies. So it's always good to kind of compare the different pharmacies to see what the best cost-effective option is as well.
Okay.
So you can actually make payment, you know, shorten your, you know, divide your payments with that method of PPC as well. So that could be a way of actually getting around that.
That's amazing. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. And I had one more question. Can you explain how someone's mindset towards money might shift after their diagnosis? So diagnosis with MS. So can you explain how someone's mindset may shift after their diagnosis, and why is it important? So it's two questions in one. Why is it important to address it early?
That is an amazing question, I must say.
Yeah.
The first thing that I would really think about is impact, you know, the impact of employment, you know. So MS symptoms, I'm sure, such as fatigue, cognitive impairment and mobility issues can affect the individual's ability to work full-time or even increase their previous capacity. So this will obviously can have an impact on reducing income as well, and relying on things like disability benefits. So, you know, this is where budgeting and financial planning becomes a bit more imperative. So it's important to address that really early if you are with an employer. In an increased awareness of healthcare costs, and that's a major thing, isn't it? You know, in that perspective. As individuals with MS obviously navigate their healthcare system, they may be more aware of the costs associated with their condition, but most importantly, being aware, you know, of the cost associated to it. So sometimes it takes that time, as I said, to buy that time to do the research around actually how you can really, you know, be aware of the costs that are associated to it. But you know, I always say addressing these shifts in mindset towards money is early is really important for these factors, you know. And as you can imagine, it's really important to protect our mental health and mental well-being. You know, I could not stress any more than that. You know, it's such a, you know, mental health is on the rise at the moment, and it's really important to have the right people to speak to, and the right communities around you to be able to voice your opinion and voice how you feel from a financial perspective or even just a personal perspective. So reducing stress is a really important thing that needs to be addressed in that area. And also planning for the future. I always say, you know, plan for the future so that you're able to take ownership of your own future. So allow yourself to really, you know, plan for that future. Look at your long-term goals, you know, look at retirement planning, look at estate planning, look at wills and trusts, you know, and start to look at actually how does that affect your family in the future, and yourself in the future, in order to make sure that you're living the right lifestyle that you will be able to as well. I think it's really important to kind of address those areas.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I would say that everybody, you know, the MSers, us MSers, need to really, whether you're working or not, I'm not working, I'm a wheelchair user, but whether you're working or not, you've got to check that you're getting what you're entitled to. So, you know, PIP, DLA, you know, ESA, So all them benefits on the, on the back burner, check through and make sure you're covered. Do you know what I mean? Just in case you're not employed, which quite a few of us aren't, not through fault of our own, but yeah. So please, double check through to make sure you're entitled and receiving your dues, basically. Yeah.
Exactly. I think that's really important, to make sure that you know what you have. And if you don't know what you have, seek the right professional advice, guidance to get that clarified. Because there could be some things that you may be missing out on that you would have just never known. I always say that knowledge is so important. Knowledge is wisdom, and without what we don't know, we won't know. And it's important to gather that information and learn from each other. That's the key.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's crazy. That is crucial. But yeah, I appreciate that. Exactly. So what else, Emmanuel? So what else is in the pipeline? That's what I want to ask as well, because I know that even myself, I've got a few um things out there for the MSs to follow me and be guided. Um, I'm sure and I'm certain, because I'm one of them. Hands up, I'm one of them. What is with you at this moment that we can follow you, and how can we follow you?
Excellent. So, in terms of, first of all, how you can follow me, you can follow me on Instagram on Money and Mindset Coaching. That's a way of following me. As well as that, you can also look at my website, which is www.moneyandmindsetcoaching.com. Feel free to follow me on those areas. But yeah, in terms of the pipeline, so many projects, okay, which is great. I'm really looking forward to launching an amazing project to help people from middle income families on learning on how to actually become coaches and mentor them on that journey. So that's something that's developing at the moment, which is really exciting. So more to come in that area, but it's all about trying to help and change the narrative and find out how we can support each other to better our mindset and actually teach other people what they may not know, which is to build a healthier mindset.
Excellent. Excellent. And that, to be fair, I mean, even if I jump on board with that, I can work from home doing that, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah. Amen. I like that.
Everybody in any capacity to be able to just make an additional income in their own comfortable space,
Yeah.
whether it is at home or even abroad, if they choose to leave the country. I'm sure that they can, but just be able to do something when they want and take control of their own finances. So that's something.
Exactly. That's amazing. That is amazing. Wow. I probably have more questions, but we're going to keep it short and sweet. Hopefully, well, definitely, we're going to do a part 2 of money mindset.
Yeah, of course. Thank you once again, Kathy, for having me, and continue to just flourish on this platform as you have been. So well done so far.
Thank you. Thank you, Emmanuel. And like I said, I will be in touch with you once I get the feedback. And the more people that follow me to follow you, we're actually going to go live eventually, aren't we, Emmanuel? I hope.
Yeah, that sounds exciting. Of course.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So love you all, everyone that's watching, and I will see you soon. Mwah, mwah, mwah. So we are pulling cards again, and the first one is the new moon in Aries. Now remember, Aries is a fire sign. Yes, so it's always go, 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 go. Let's go, let's go, let's do it, let's get it, let's triumph in everything that we do. So this one is go for it. Go for it. I wonder if you could see that. Am I too close?
This card heralds good news. Opportunities abound and the outlook is positive. Go through the doors that are opening up to you. There's every reason to believe you'll create what you want, even if you feel a long way from your goal. Keep going and be courageous. Chase your dreams with childlike enthusiasm and expect your desires to be satisfied. Don't sit around making plans. Do take action. This is crucial. Chase your goal. Believe in divine timing. In love, make the first move if you dare. Financially, be proactive.
So, like I said, again, it's all about going for it, going for whatever you want in this life. In this life, it's all about trying to reach whatever is in the forefront of your mind to achieve. Go for it. Okay, so the next card is, what is this card? It is the first quarter moon in Pisces. So Pisces is a water sign, yeah, and it's all about emotions and feelings and everything. So what it's saying is honor your feelings.
Are you putting on a good front, acting like you're bright and breezy but hiding your real feelings? Rather than acting as though everything is fine, if you're worried about certain issues, it's best to deal with them. Avoid getting so wrapped up in your feelings that you overwhelm yourself and everyone else involved in the situation. If you deny your feelings, you'll go nowhere fast with your manifesting. Look at the big picture and use your intuition. Avoid blowing an upset out of proportion.
Right. So if you want to manifest, which most of us do, um, don't sit in your feelings. Don't sit in your feelings. Let it go. Honor your feelings. See it for what it is. So if you feel a block even in your life at this moment, yeah, understand that it's a block for a reason. Yeah, it's telling you to change direction, move. Yeah, keep moving. Yeah, but honor your feelings, feel it deeply in your soul to let everything manifest for you. Yes, be peaceful, be courageous, like the card said, be courageous in what you are doing. Sorry, people. So, this card now, last card, remember past, present, future, not linear. Past is present, present is future. So, the last card is cool your emotions, people. Cool your emotions.
Are you in the middle of an argument or perhaps in the mood to pick an argument? Surely not. Or are you being overly forward? This is a time of heated emotions and frayed up tempers. Anger is better than despair. As Abraham Hicks taught us, because anger spurs us on to do something, but you may get better results if you master your emotions. Certainly avoid stirring the pot, or it could boil over. Cooling your emotions and being the peacemaker means you'll attract a more peaceful outcome.
Yeah. And again, it falls in line with the last card. Cool your emotions, because what you want must come to you. But if you're in a razzled, frazzled space in time of your life, it's not going to come, because it's not got the entrance. It's not, you've not made room for anything to come to you, you see. So if you're frazzled and dazzled, there's no space for what you're trying to manifest in your life to come to you. Yes, so please cool your emotions. So people, please take heed of what the cards are saying. It's only inspiration for your week ahead. 2 weeks ahead, because now our podcast, instead of it being weekly, it's going to be bi-weekly. So it will be every other Monday. So I will see you in 2 weeks' time. Love you. And the next one is all about MS and domestic violence. So tune in, listen in, watching. Come to me, babies. Come to me. I love you. Mwah. Bye.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of Shifting the MS Mindset. If you liked what you heard, then be sure to hit like and subscribe. Until next time, remember, we are in control of our destiny. Let's stick together and feel empowered, always. You got this.